Moving on, our next presenter is going to focus his presentation on the changing customer behavior. This will be presented by Lester Sualog. Yeah, okay. Digital and Mobile Life Lead, TNS Philippines. Lester is a seasoned insights director who has covered every media in terms of creative execution from TV to digital to below the line activation. All right. He also worked on extensive collaborations with leading ad agencies and management consultants, bringing together various global and regional roles in helping clients from concept design to execution of ideas. Lester has over 14 years of experience in market research. Lester has been posted in TNS offices outside Manila, namely Jakarta, Ho Chi Minh City, Melbourne, Singapore. Lester has run technology, digital projects in both emerging and developed markets. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Lester.
So, as I was saying, I may have a limited amount of time this afternoon, so I'm just going to read through the findings so we can just go through the findings quickly and proceed with your questions. I am Lester, I'm from TNS, and a lot of our jobs or projects deal with your ad hoc business issues, but once in a while we do come up with studies that are syndicated, and we have them in various topics. This afternoon I'm going to talk about the mobile life, which is a central source of my presentation today to talk about the changing customer behavior. Well, TNS Mobile Life draws on the behaviors, motivations, and priorities of 38,000 people in 43 countries to develop recommendations on activating a business and marketing strategy via mobile. Well, in the Philippines, for this study, we focused in Metro Manila, and Mobile Life is based on conversations among 500 socioeconomic classes A, B, C, D, E, so it cuts across almost everyone here, males and females 16 to 60 years old, designed to capture the entire population of mobile users in the city, in Metro Manila. That's 17 cities, including one municipality. And fieldwork here was done in December 2012 to January 2013. Well, there are big picture questions that Mobile Life will be able to address, and some of those questions will be answered in this presentation. The first one is that what are the mobile platforms and services that are driving consumer engagement today? And second, we have how are consumers behaving on mobile, and what opportunities do these behaviors present to our brands? Number three, what impact is mobile having in the retail channel, and how can brands make the most of this? I think earlier there was a question about consumer journey. We're going to talk about a little bit about path to purchase. And lastly, what other devices are people using, and how will increased uptake of tablets change the environment further? Let's look at the big picture. Let's start looking at the study findings by jumping to the conclusion that the mobile life stories in Metro Manila can be found on our streets. Mobile has come to occupy an important place in the lives of consumers, facilitating communication and delivering entertainment in mind-blowing ways. Amidst fierce competition, relevance will show us which types of content consumers will source from which brands. Mobile devices are extremely important to Metro Manila consumers, from being an extension of their personality to being a source of entertainment. What we have here is a finding that 64% of 16 to 60 years old agree that the mobile phone is an extension of themselves, and they would feel lost without it. Only a marginal 15% would tend to disagree. Well, in addition, 60% of these Metro Manila men and women agree that their mobile phones provide them with a constant source of entertainment. They would be bored without it. Personally, I could relate to this, and gone are the days that I would be bringing a novel or a book to the client's office so I could while away the time waiting for my appointment. But now I would just look at my smartphone and amuse myself with what's on Facebook, Instagram, or what have not. However, we note that a meager 20% would tend to disagree. 57% of Metro Manila consumers agree that mobile phones give them access to the information they need at the right place and time. Furthermore, a significant majority, or 64%, agree that it's the most important piece of technology. And this level here goes up much higher if you look at, for example, 22 to 30 years old, and even the younger age stage. Mobile phone is on a different level versus other devices in terms of ownership and desire to buy in the near future. Remarkably, mobile phone is now the preferred device for playing games, online banking, browsing internet sites, accessing of social networks, and instant messaging. So what happens to laptop? Conversely, laptop is the only leading device in terms of making video calls or streaming videos in Metro Manila. Metro Manila is also ahead of global and emerging Asia in terms of smartphone ownership. And here we're looking at the city. So I should not be quoted of saying that this is representative of the total Philippines. And this is driven by 20-somethings. And incidence of ownership dwindles as consumers get older, because we do have other types of phones, your feature phones and your basic phone types. As smartphones become more affordable and within budget, smartphone ownership will continue its ascent in Metro Manila as well as in the Philippines in general. We all know that the price of the cheapest brand new Android smartphone is about 1,500 pesos, and that's brand new. Now let's talk about device ownership. 9 out of 10 Metro Manila consumers currently own a mobile phone. And as I've just mentioned, mobile phone, for this study, we cover 3 types, and these are smartphones, features phone, and the basic phone types. We also note that among mobile phone owners, and this is a subset, we have 53% ownership of smartphone. Interestingly, when looking at device share of time, mobile smartphone gains higher device time than laptop and desktop or PC. And this is expected to further increase given the constantly improving functionality of the handheld devices. You might ask, what happens to smart TV here? Penetration of smart TV is still low, although it is starting to pick up among 41 to 50 years old respondents. Okay. It is very interesting to note that across common phone features, utilization is much higher among those with smartphones than those without smartphones. Okay. The top 5 features used in Metro Manila are the following: SMS text messaging, listening to music, taking photos or videos, playing games, and Bluetooth connection. Well, smartphones afford consumers greater connectivity and variety in terms of activities. For instance, browsing the internet, social networking, and connecting to Wi-Fi in public areas. As they said, and I think most of us can relate to this, smartphone users are always on the go, always on, and always charging their phones. There is higher interest to own a smartphone in the future versus other devices. We have noted that smartphone ownership is already higher than laptop and desktop PC, and it can only keep rising as handsets become more affordable. What we are seeing as the main criteria in choosing a smartphone would be the battery life, the brand, and the price. Let's talk about tablets. Tablet ownership in the Philippines is higher than the average for emerging Asia, while intention to buy is evidently high among young consumers. And let's talk about brand of tablets. Samsung Galaxy at 42% garners highest ownership level in Metro Manila. And you can see here that Apple iPad is at 27%, and most probably because of the affordability of Samsung Galaxy. However, if you look at preference for the future, Apple iPad remains to be an aspirational brand. In fact, it's the most aspirational brand, given high interest to buy than any other brands present here in Metro Manila. Now, let's look at the mobile phones. Nokia captures a huge chunk of the market still, although leaving enough room for the runner-up Samsung to take. We also see local manufacturer Cherry Mobile gets a decent, if smaller, slice of the pie. In relation to handset brand commitment measure, and at TNS, we are very fond of computing or calculating brand commitment. Nokia stands to lose a portion of its current business on account of users who simply would like to be using something else. By contrast, aspirational brands like Apple and BlackBerry boast significant growth potential. What you are seeing here is the range of age groups wherein the mobile lifestyle or the mobile life cycle is calculated in terms of the number of months. We have noted that 16 to 21 years old Metro Manila mobile users tend to change handsets slightly faster every 31 months, and that would also be 2.5 years than the rest of the age group. Most of them see themselves transitioning to a touchscreen device, but quite a number still prefer the basic dial pad candy bar. We do note that younger mobile users in the city change handsets slightly faster than the rest of emerging Asia, and that includes the cities or key cities in Vietnam, in Thailand, and in Indonesia. Meanwhile, older consumers can use the same phone for up to 4 years. So you can see the comparison between the 20-somethings or the 16 to 20 years old to the 40 years old and above who would like to still keep on using their phone up to 4 years. Well, what about other demographics? It is interesting to find out that males tend to allot more money than females when buying a mobile phone. Males are willing to pay up to 8,500 on the average, while females would only want to shell out 7,000 pesos for their next mobile phone. So how is the mobile device used? The demand for advanced functionality continues to grow, and we have seen this over the years of studying mobile life. Although consumers still prefer to know more about the products with the aid of in-store sales assistants, so the physical in-store transaction is still there, information via mobile has an undeniable effect on consumption or consumer opinion. Mobile is usually used to compare prices, know more about the product via reviews, and check opinion of others via social media. Mobile also plays a key role in helping consumers to research about the products. The use of mobile in the consumer journey will be primarily driven by more people researching about the product at home, sharing photo or videos of products, and receiving updates from places of interest. Let's talk about social networks. Mobile users would also like to further explore their handsets' productivity and connectivity features, particularly their ability to access the Wi-Fi at home and in public areas. Please do note that even if this is the capital of the country, this is pretty much a prepaid area. So the connections are not really basically out of your postpaid, but out of the prepaid denominations, the unlimited data connections, or in most cases, or most of the time, the free Wi-Fi at home, in the neighborhood, or in the public spaces. Almost a quarter of Metro Manila mobile users access social networks on their phones daily. The figure is even higher among smartphone owners with continual connectivity, and this is the portion of those with postpaid connections. We have observed the following figures around social media activities. Well, 70% would be checking the status of their friends, and this is on a daily basis. They would message friends, 58%. Update on status at 48%, and upload photos or videos at 46%. Let's talk about the applications. Users are discriminating when it comes to the content that they will download and use constantly. Apps must be accessible and add value, and should add value to the mobile experience. Free apps are being downloaded in a way much faster rate than the paid apps, and it's 60% here in Metro Manila. And they would also tend to delete apps if they are not useful, about 55%. So applications must help enhance the mobile experience. Most users will not spend on applications, even so, they do not pounce on every free applications that comes their way. So just to wrap up, consumers here do not take selection of applications lightly. That they should come free of charge is almost always a requirement, but it's not the only one. They must add undeniable value to mobile experience and increased level of engagement in order to secure repeated and continuous usage. Finally, a mobile's role in the path to purchase is focused on empowering consumers through information, giving them means to gather feedback from other people and to share what they know about a product. Retail strategies need to factor this in, taking particular note of price comparisons, the search for product-specific information, and the influence of peer reviews. The mobile is a personal device, just to close the presentation. And people make their phone their own, and they develop their own mobile personal space. If a brand is invited into a consumer's mobile's personal space, huge benefits are available. And we note that mobile holds potential to make consumer lives easy in a huge number of ways. And before I close, I'd like to leave you with a thought. Consumers used to spend time to save money. Nowadays, they spend money to save time. And that's all for your Mobile Life 2013.
Thank you, Lester. Can you join me here for a short conversation? Questions? Comments? Okay, I just have two questions, Lester. Very much interested in the tablet. Based on what you know about the tablets, do you see any indicator of how it will grow in the future? Because tablets are getting smaller and smaller. I mean, like what do you call an iPad now as an iPad mini, getting smaller and smaller. So where do you see tablet moving?
Well, tablet actually is an interesting device because it tries to cross the line between a stationary sort of activity into something that is mobile or always on the go. So in terms of the array or the device share of time, it will actually eat up specifically on your PC and also a little bit on your mobile phones. In addition to that, we also note, as you were saying, tablets become smaller. There are various sizes of tablets to choose from, but tablets in general actually, the touch screen experience will be big in the future.
Tablet will be big. Yes.
Just a quick question regarding the source. No, I'd like to find out your source of the data that you presented. At the same time, the sample size. I'm with an IT company called Acer. Of course, we have a complete line of PCs and, well, smartphones and tablets.
This is a TNS syndicated data, and we have done this in 43 other countries. So what I just presented is a snapshot for Metro Manila with 500 base cuts across A, B, C, D, E. So this is a consumer-based study.
Sample size of
500.
500. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes, question?
What would TNS say regarding parang the forecast in terms of, we've been hearing that on balance here or maybe next year, Apple and Samsung will also be launching the iWatch or the Samsung Watch. And what I've been hearing is that the new CPU is the mobile phone, and all of the next ventures would be accessories that help us, I don't know, futurize how we live. How do you think that affects the whole mix of it all?
Well, I think that the burden is actually for the consumers to choose which device they would use for a specific activity. For now,
we saw in the data that even smart TVs penetration is still quite low. Do you think in a couple of years, at least the local market do you think it's the same path for those types of gadgets, or it's a different animal altogether?
I think those devices that I've just shown would tend to increase year on year, and that's because of the advancement in terms of the level of functionality, and also in terms of the level of sophistication among Filipino consumers. Also, aside from that, there's a push and pull activity, and that's the way we look at it. We also see a lot of seedings coming from the manufacturers. So they are pushing us to use and bombarding us with a lot of variations of a touch screen, for example, via sizes, via functionality, whether you can have it via with an LTE capability, or probably just a standalone with through a Wi-Fi connection. So I think that in the future, the forecast, and we probably don't need TNS really to look into it, but the general feel is that the business for these devices will be very good in the future, especially here in the Philippines.
Any more questions? All right. Lester, thank you so much for a very informative presentation.
Thank you.